Hey everyone, the numbers are in for Whisper Dunes in Panama City Beach for the third quarter of 2024. I'm Craig Duran with the Duran Group at Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices, working from the home office as you see today rather than the office. It's a gorgeous morning in mid-October, so I'm taking advantage of the outside. A couple things I want to share with you. I want to show you what went on in the Whisper Dunes sales market in the third quarter of 2024, and also talk a little bit about where pricing may be headed. Before that, I'm extremely excited to show you. I'm re-releasing some software we had in the past. For those, a lot of you were signed up for this already. I know a few of you, Chris, are waiting for this. We're relaunching some software, sort of a new and improved version of our e-alert system. And what this um, is this is the best way I've seen for owners of real estate to keep up with the value of their property consistently and accurately. Anytime you can be set up in the system, anytime a property goes up for sale, changes the asking price, goes under contract or pending, or sells, you'll get an email. And I can set this system up that you get it as soon as anything happens, or what a lot of people like to do is just look at it once a week, once a month, something like that. But this information is coming straight from our real estate agent system, the MLS. It's the most accurate version of uh, real estate data I've seen. And it's also very easy to use. On the computer, it looks good. On the phone, it looks good. Let me show you a sample of it. This is a sample of the hot sheet in Panama City Beach. Your version wouldn't have any of this over here, but you would just have these tiles. And I can set it up just for Whisper Dunes. And so you'll see anytime something's new to the market, you'll have this yellow banner that shows new. If you want some more details, you can figure out how many days it's been on the market. You can see exactly where it is on the map if you care to look at that. You can actually look at the full details and click through every single picture here. This happens to be a rental on the market. Here's a condo for sale. Again, new to the market. Price change here, down $10,000 or 2%. It shows you the dollar amount and percentage. Here's some more. Dropped $1,000, less than 1%. Dropped $10,000, 2%. Also, see if I can find one for you. Anytime something will show up as, let me get these. We'll also have in here, the system is launching as we speak. If something goes under contract, it'll have another banner. And if it sells, this is the most important part. If it sells, the accurate sales price and the accurate sales date. It's not what your neighbor said they sold the house for. It's very accurate. So if you'd like to be on this, I know a lot of you are waiting to be back in the system. I had it for a long time. The system went away. I've actually purchased it myself now. 850-290-0417. Text Whisper Dunes to 850-290-0417, and I'll set you up. What a lot of other people will do, if you own multiple pieces of real estate and you want to keep track of a few different areas, certainly you can do that also. And one last note before I show you the pricing and the market information. I don't send this information to everybody in Whisper Dunes. I haven't ever talked to all the owners in Whisper Dunes. I only am ever sending this out to people who've requested this. So if you think this is helpful for someone, either the idea of that e-alert system or this video, just please share this with them so they can see it also. All right, so the market for Panama City Beach, third quarter in the housing market. Remember, for those of you who haven't seen one of these videos in a while, months of inventory is an important number to understand in real estate. The idea of months of inventory helps us decide or understand if it's a hot market or a cold market, buyer market or seller's market. 5 or 6 months of inventory traditionally has represented a very neutral, balanced market in real estate. So when you see 5 or 6 months of inventory for a certain market, it's about normal. If the number's lower than that, things are happening faster. It's a hotter market, seller's market. The longer we stay there, or the longer we're trending towards that, the more price appreciation you see. It's pretty simple. The longer you're in a buyer's market, which means the price is higher, especially if the market is trending higher in months of inventory, that's more pressure on prices to come down. It's a very simplistic way to look at things. There's certainly more to it than that, but it's a very good starting point. So March of 2023, the entire detached single family. We'll start with detached single family. No, sorry, we're starting with attached units. Since Whisper Dunes has two sort of sub markets inside of it. An attached single market started with 3 months of inventory and has moved up to 8.49. That's not terrible. 5 or 6 months of inventory is neutral. 8.49 is certainly on paper a buyer's market. But for example, some of the Gulf front condos I've seen are at like 35 months of inventory. So 8.49, is trending up recently. It was getting a little better in April. It's back to 8.49 months of inventory, but not terrible. If we look at price trends in, let me simplify this for you a little bit. So the sold median price of attached single family unit was 318 in March of 2023. It's now 314,900. So the sold median price really hasn't changed much. Not a lot of depreciation in this market. If you look at the average price, 367, 362. Again, not much change in the attached single family market. That's an extremely good sign for that market. A couple reasons that are happening, the reasons why that's happening, excuse me. Generally speaking, attached units are less expensive than the detached market. And as the market's gotten slower and interest rates have moved up for buyers, it's a little easier to afford something that's a little less expensive. If we look at the detached single family market for the entire beach. Now, remember, this will take into all price points, all different areas, so it's a good place to start. When we look at the months of inventory for detached single family market, it's a little bit more pronounced. 3.03 months of inventory up to 9.92. Again, not quite as bad as the condo market, but definitely has been trending slower. We're over 3 times slower than we were a year and a half ago in the housing market. When you look at price trends, the average sales price of a home in PCB has gone from 682,407 down dramatically, 569. Much more price depreciation in the housing market. The median sales price 521 to 510, so not as much depreciation there on the median price, which is an encouraging thing. When you look at, and again, these numbers are much more manageable than the condo market. Still very much a buyer's market, still trending slower, which I think is the most important or most important thing for owners to understand, especially anyone who's thinking about selling anytime soon. And we'll talk about which way the market could go with pricing in just a minute. To look at the market specifically in Whisper Dunes for the third quarter, I've got this organized by price, so let's just start from the bottom. On the market currently, we have three bedroom, 2-bath plans over on Sand Oak asking $250, $289, and $289. The most recent one that's sold is a 3.2. This is one of the it's technically an attached unit, but is not the multi-level one. It did sell for $310 in the third quarter. You'll see some expireds from time to time, which means this is an owner that tried to sell but didn't. So they tried to sell at 310 and didn't. There's one on the market for 319.9. Again, similar square footage, bedroom, bath count, and one on the market for 339. We did have a couple of sales. One more sale, in the third quarter in one of the newer, it was like one of the DR Horton ones, $340,000 closing here. And of course, we'd have to dig into that a little bit more. Look, condition, of course, matters, age of mechanicals, all those things. But that's just a good starting point for you. In the detached single family market side, we had a closing at 335 Blue Sage, 3-bedroom, 2-bath for $455. The least expensive home on the market currently is $499. Another 3.2 asking $500. Another one asking $515. Another one asking $520. Is one currently pending, asking $529. Another one asking $535. Another one pending, asking $539. Another one asking $548.5. One that was trying to sell at $575. that didn't sell expired, but then changed the price, probably real estate companies, and now is pending. And another one here, I don't know if this one was relisted. No, this one was 576 and was canceled. If you look at this to see what's available for sale, just if you're looking at it from a buyer's point of view, there are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attached units for sale, anywhere from 250 to 339. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 homes for sale, priced from $499 up to $548. So a couple things on the market. Interest rates have been trending down. That's a good sign, certainly for the residential market. Anytime mortgage rates come down, that makes homes more affordable for people. Insurance rates have been drifting up recently. That's making the cost of home ownership more expensive in Florida generally. And probably the biggest challenge for neighborhoods like Whisper Dunes are all of these brand new subdivisions that you see popping up and down the beach. There are 3 alone on Highway 79, Bayside at Ward Creek, Breakwater at Ward Creek, and Saltgrass, which is coming out pretty soon. Breakfast Point East is still selling a lot of new construction, and there's some other sections of the beach that have little smaller pockets of new construction. And what builders will do, new home builders will do very well, is sort of play a shell game with closing costs and marketing. They may say, hey, here, the price of the house is $500, but we'll give you $30,000 towards closing costs, or $10,000 towards closing costs. Although those closing costs are closing costs that a seller would normally pay anyway. And in the way the builder contract works, those closing costs are on the buyer side. So they say, hey, we're giving you $10,000 towards these closing costs. But in the traditional resale, the seller was paying those anyway. There's a lot of things like that the builders are excellent at. Builders have figured out some time ago how to package up a lower interest rate for buyers. This has been one of the most effective things for new home builders to do. They can advertise, hey, here's a house for sale for $500,000, but your interest rate will be 2.99% or 3.49%. That's extremely effective when rates are at 6.5%. Lower than that now generally, but that's one of another hurdle that resales has to compete with. And finally, everybody likes new. Even though lots are getting a little bit smaller, the things that are being sold with the home, there's not as much coming with it. Whatever you think of the quality of the construction may or may not be changing. But again, it's marketing, which goes back to what you've heard me talk about a lot in the past, especially in a slower market like this. Marketing is so much more important. Homes marketed with video are seen 403% more time online than those without. All those statistics you see me talk about over and over again. You've got to have professional photos, professional videos, 3D tours, drone shots, and then more than just the MLS. You've got to have this stuff marketed all over the internet and a plan to do that. So as far as the market, we feel like there's a lot of wait and see right now. The longer we're in that buyer market territory, the more pressure there is on pricing to come down. I think 2 things can possibly happen. In Whisper Dunes, this is a good example. You've already seen now homes dip down to 500 and under 500 on an asking price. Now, depending if a buyer comes along and negotiates with either one of these sellers, and the sellers really want to sell and get something done, and maybe even negotiate a little further, you can see how the market gets pulled down by pricing, because appraisals are all working off of these new numbers. So it's something to pay attention to. I think at the moment, the market is not moving very fast. We don't have a lot of sales. We haven't most of the year. In a way, that's a good thing, because if we are seeing price depreciation, it's happening slower. Maybe it would be better if it was happening faster, but we really need to watch. And I think one of the most important things for people to understand who might be selling and say, well, I'm just going to wait until the spring. I think it's still very possible that the housing market gets worse before it gets better on paper. I don't know that it gets dramatically worse, like the condo market is showing some signs of that. I don't have a crystal ball, but just looking at trends. So I think one or two things happen with the housing market. We still could slide a little on pricing for resales before we find a bottom and then start to appreciate again. And that takes time. That could take a year, 2, 3 to continue some depreciation, find a bottom, stay there for a while, and start moving the other direction. So if you're thinking about selling in that time frame, you're better off theoretically selling before you're worth less on paper. I think the other way the market could go, which remains to be seen, of course, is we could be about at the bottom now, sort of flat, just waiting for something to change. Maybe improved interest rates, maybe getting past a presidential election, maybe more news about something happening in Panama City Beach, more of this home construction, the 87-acre hospital, Top Golf, Dolly Parton's thing, all those things. And something will change with how buyers feel about buying, and we don't lose much more money on paper. But the one of the things about real estate, at least the real estate fundamentals, so many people who are living in their homes, if they have a mortgage, have a very, very low interest rates. There are a lot of high 2s, low 3% or interest rates on existing mortgages. So it's very, very, very challenging for someone to say, hey, I want to move somewhere, or even if I need to move somewhere, but I have to go get a loan now at 5.5% or 6%, which is why those builder incentives are so important. But if interest rates slide down into the low 5s, high 4s, maybe continue to get a little better than that, maybe making the leap from a 3.25% interest rate to 4 or 4.25% isn't as bad, and that should loosen the market up a little bit. So keep an eye on things. I think we could see a relatively quiet rest of the year. That's not a given, though. Sometimes right after a presidential election, so many people have been waiting that the market loosens up pretty quickly after that. Again, if you want to be on this e-alert system for Whisper Dunes or any other neighborhood, let me know. Again, 850-290-0417. Just shoot me a text, Whisper Dunes, and I'll set you up. There's no charge. There's no obligation to work with me or anything. I just like having accurate information about real estate out in the market. So that's the point of that. I hope you find this helpful. We'll be back. I've done a lot of these in the last few days. I can't believe I'm saying it, but we'll be back at the beginning of next year to go through the fourth quarter with you to show you what's happened in the sales market. I hope you find this helpful. And again, please share this with anyone you think may care to listen. Thanks for watching.